love extends beyond the limitations of doctrine. This is so very strong. For example, St. Bernard in his sermons on the Song of Songs talks about devotion, zeal, and love. He says knowledge and doctrine is important, but it can't compare to the reality of love. This is what people are experiencing in different religions. And I've noticed it's also changed me in that regard. We realized that we had truths that we could share with each other, right, that were very, very real. Right. And so we went beyond the idea of toleration, which was the first step, into appreciation. And now I think we're going and have to go beyond appreciation into love. We actually have to love these other traditions. We don't desire to convert them or to have them become like us. Yeah. And we have an understanding of, I had an experience, a traumatic experience, just 3 months ago. I was invited to give 4 days lectures on Christian meditation to the Sivananda ashram in the Bahamas. And I went there, and every morning we had a half hour of chanting, which chants, by the way, were really just what we would call the litany of the saints. Then there was a half-hour meditation, and then an hour teaching. I gave, as part of my hour teaching, the cloud of unknowing, but I was really dismayed to find out that before my teaching, we sat there for a half-hour meditation, and the leader, this Swami from India, matter of fact, said to the people something like this: "Now sit very quietly, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, enter deeply within yourself, and be open to the presence of God, and rest in that presence." And then he just said, "Now be quiet for half an hour." And then I had to go and tell them this new innovative meditation called centering prayer from the cloud of unknowing to these people who had been practicing it for probably 4,000 years. We have it in common.
William, would you like to say a word of encouragement to contemplative outreach, as we're getting ready to celebrate our 30th anniversary?
Well, I think that contemplative outreach, to a certain extent, is and can be, of course, the expression of this love that we're talking about, that what ecumenism is really supposed to be, and that it's not so much a defense of self or of anything as it is an acknowledgement of a love which exists and should exist. And I think contemplative outreach is a very meaningful way of communicating that love, of sharing it, of living it. I'm in admiration of the people in contemplative outreach, certainly. But the only thing I would caution I would have is not to be narrow-minded. There's one way or the highway. I'm very uncomfortable with that. And as a matter of fact, I make a confession and do not deny when I teach centering prayer. I teach your word prayer method as well as the cloud's word prayer method. And I also teach Lawrence Freeman's, and I leave it up to people to choose whichever suits them the most. Nobody can say what it should be or shouldn't be, but we can offer the potentialities and the possibilities. And this is the direction I'll see contemplative outreach in going, and I would encourage them to go in this direction. In reality, they are all forms of loving God. That's the important thing. But I think you should teach one method as a preferred method. I think that's perfectly legitimate.
Right,
Because otherwise, for beginners, you can be confusing.
right.
But at the same time, there has to be an expression of openness. But now, beside the structural formation of contemplative outreach, though, I'm not sure that will redound to your eternal glory. But what will redound to your eternal glory is how you have developed the whole idea of centering prayer and contemplative meditation, and expanded it into a way of life, and a way of life that embraces all of God's beloved people.
Well, I hope so.
Well, that's, to me, is the great thing you've done.